shout out to my people. Green, silver, black, and white. Always repping for my Eagles. Hey, hey, welcome to the podcast. We gon' keep it real. Get it hype when the team stepping on the field. We all we got. We all we need. Philadelphia Eagles, lock in with me. It's a Philly thing. You ready? Let's go.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I'm your host, Asif Body, and Lane Johnson over the weekend, or since the last practice, rather, has called it a career. This will be, more likely than not, the last year of his illustrious career. And listen, in terms of it coming as a shock, I guess for me it was a little bit of a shock, although there was, 4 straight practices where Lane Johnson didn't come by. He didn't show up. And everyone in Eagles Nation was kind of speculating that this could potentially mean that he wants to retire, or that it's something that's on his mind, or if it was a mental health issue. We wanted to be sensitive of that. So nobody knew what his thoughts were and what his mindset was during that 4-practice hiatus. However, he came back, had the introductory press conference where he basically said, this is more likely than not going to be my last year. I want to be able to spend more time with my family. My parents have some health issues that I want to be able to be with them. And things have just switched in priority. And you know what? That's very, very fair. And quite frankly, a 13, 14-year career that Lane Johnson has had, he deserves every opportunity to go ahead and call it a career whenever he wants. Now, he's been mulling this for some time. And this is going to be his last year. Now, I do find it a little interesting that it was the first year he truly declared retirement right when we changed scheme. But nonetheless, more likely than not, this is due to issues with his family. He wants to see his kids grow up a little bit more. He wants to be at home. And again, he's relatively young, 35, 36 years old in the grand scheme of things. And he's had a very, very illustrious career, a Hall of Fame career if in my opinion, a Hall of Fame career. Let's see what the Hall of Fame voters say about that. But one of the best tackles I've seen in my lifetime. And, I mean, I don't know how many tackles, at least I've started watching football in 2007. I don't know many tackles that have had the impact on a football team that Lane Johnson has had. And the only other guy that I could think of that's maybe better than Lane Johnson that I have seen in my career of watching a football game has been Trent Williams. And even then, those are the two guys that you look at and you say, you know what? It's comparable. Trent Williams did play left tackle. Lane Johnson played right tackle. Now, initially, he was drafted to eventually become a left tackle after Jason Peters left, but he was so great at right tackle, the Eagles were like, yeah, we're not going to move you. We're going to keep you at right tackle. And with that being said, let's actually take a look at Lane Johnson's career in a little bit of a nutshell. And I feel bad doing it this way because, 13-year, 14-year career, it's basically summed up in 4 blocks. But nonetheless, here we go. 168 career regular season games were played over the 13-year career. This is probably entering year 14. A 2-time Super Bowl champion, our first one in franchise history in 2017, and was also involved in the Great Wall of Philly in 2024, leading the NFL's rushing attack with Saquon Barkley. He was a pillar on that offensive line, obviously. 6-time Pro Bowl selection, 2-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, a very prestigious honor in the NFL, probably more prestigious than the Pro Bowl selections. And then this is probably the craziest stat of them all. In his 13 to 14-year career, he's allowed 33 sacks and 37 quarterback hits. And mind you, that's such a wild stat. Mind you, his first year in the league was when he allowed 10 sacks. So ever since his rookie season, he's only allowed 20 some odd sacks. That is elite play. And even just last season, he allowed 0 sacks. And he played 12 games. 0 sacks. Again, I understand it's right tackle and not left tackle. But again, what makes it more remarkable is that he's played with a quarterback in Jalen Hurts over the past 7 years, who one of the knocks on him is that he doesn't necessarily stay in the pocket and he rolls out to his right, towards Lane Johnson, towards pass rush. And not one time has he let up sacks in the 2025 season for that guy. It's a remarkable, remarkable career. And another stat that we all know as Eagle fans, when Lane Johnson is in the lineup, we have a 66% winning percentage. We're 110-57 all time. When he's not in the lineup, when Lane Johnson is out, the Eagles are 18-27. That's 40% winning percentage. We scored 26 points per game with Lane Johnson in the lineup and 22 without him. I can't think of a tackle outside of maybe Trent Williams that is directly correlated to win and loss. That is directly correlated to points per game. I mean, that shows you Lane Johnson himself is worth 4 points a game. In the world of sports, if you're worth 1 point a game, you teeter the seesaw. You teeter the scales to such an elite level. 4 points he's worth just for him being on the field. I don't know. Again, this is me off the top of my head. That might be one of the greatest point shares for a player I have ever seen in my life. Especially in football, considering it's an offensive tackle as well. That is unreal. And the fact that he's still at an elite level and he just wants to call it a career due to family matters and all that stuff. One, I'm sad because he's one of the best Eagles of all time. One of the greatest tackles to ever play the game. In my opinion, a Hall of Famer. First ballot, if I should say. And if he wanted to, he could play another 2-3 years at an elite level. That gifted. But this will be the last season with a new offense and a new change in scheme and all that stuff. Lane Johnson's career is going to be over at the end of the 2026 NFL season. And kudos to you, Lane Johnson. Hell of a career. And you will be missed when you're gone. And again, it's a stellar career. It really just is a stellar career. What's up, everybody? This is your host, Asif Badi of the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. Listen, if you like what you're hearing thus far in this video, do me a favor here. Shoot this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and comment your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, check us out on audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and leave a 5-star review because in the end, it doesn't cost you a damn thing to go ahead and do those things for a brother and another human being. So I appreciate your support on the opposite side of the camera. And without further ado, let's get on with the show. That being said, let's just do one more transition into this little topic and see, will this be a rallying cry for the new offense? Will this be something that propels this team to push it to the next level because this is Lane Johnson's last season? And it's really predicated on whether or not the offense is going to be able to step up. Primarily the quarterback being able to step up and carry the mantle a little bit more. Because we know Lane Johnson, when he's out there, there's no issue. He's going to be just fine because he's elite. Can this offense pick up the slack? That's the biggest question mark. And Nick Sirianni, again, was asked today in a press conference about his opinions on what Jalen Hurts has been doing and how he's improved in camp. And here are the quotes that we have from Nick Sirianni in regards to Jalen Hurts and his improvement. This is, again, about Jalen Hurts. He's doing a really good job. You can see how quickly he's getting through progressions and on to the next read with great footwork. Jalen's a very accurate passer, and you're seeing that continue to shine. Just some of the new things that with different footworks that he has to do, particularly under center. You're just seeing the growth of him daily within this offense and getting more and more comfortable. Again, those are things that you want to see coming out of camp in a new scheme and a new design of the offense from the head coach about the quarterback. And one of the biggest knocks that I've continuously critiqued about Jalen Hurts is the fact that his footwork is not super polished and that the arm angles and releases are not the quickest. And at least on that note, with Sean Mannion, what he did in his introductory press conference, and when we've heard quotes about him in Green Bay and what he said about fundamentals and footwork, like that seems to be something that he came in and really made it an emphasis on for Jalen Hurts. So that way, when you do go out and play the game, your fundamentals are in check, right? Because that's one of the things that's been lacking in this offense. It's the lack of footwork and consistency in the fundamentals that's made Jalen Hurts have an up and down career. When he's had really good coaching in his footwork and he played really, I think in 2022, I could be wrong, I could be mistaken. I think he saw Tom House in the offseason to work on his fundamentals and footwork. And it's no coincidence that paired with Shane Steichen and Tom House, it was probably his career year. Yes, the offensive design was different, but you saw the way he threw the ball. You saw the way he was releasing the ball, decisiveness, all that stuff. It came out of his hand like a whip. And ever since then, it's gotten slowly less impressive. And I've heard an interview with Frank Reich talking about how one of the things that Jalen Hurts has to work on is his footwork. It's regressed. So this training camp, not only is it a new offense and a new scheme and new terminology, but it's going back to the fundamentals and saying, hey, let's really get at your footwork. Let's really make sure that your steps are in rhythm and your mechanics are good. Because that's the thing about quarterbacks in offense. If your mechanics are awful, you're not going to be able to throw the ball at a consistent level. And I know this intimately because my mechanics throwing the football are not very good. My footwork's terrible. My arm angle's inconsistent. There's days when if it comes out of my hands cleanly, I can throw it with the best of them in the flag league that I'm in. But it's very, very far in between because my fundamentals are shot. That Nick Sirianni quote kind of shows, hey, the offense is going in the right direction, and now they have the extra juice, I should say. The extra juice now of saying, hey, this is Lane's final ride. Pave the lane. Johnson is retiring this year. Can we get back to a Super Bowl and win one for number 65 for Lane Johnson? That is yet to be seen, but I feel just a little bit better that the offense and the whole team as a unit is going to kind of have much more of a singular focus now. One of the biggest things in this offseason has been about unity, camaraderie, and being on the same page. This is just one more thing. Lane Johnson's unfortunate announcement of retirement at the end of this season, it adds into the bucket of camaraderie, unity, being on the same page, and having a common goal in mind. Where it's like, hey, we just need to win by any means necessary, and let's do it for Lane Johnson. So what say you, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know and show praise to Lane Johnson. If you're going to make a comment, shoot this video a thumbs up and shoot me a follow on all other platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and X. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you back here next time for the next episode of the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. Hey, thank you so much for getting through this episode of the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want more content just like this, hit the subscribe button below to lock in with me. Thank you so much for your support on the opposite side of the camera, and check us out on other platforms in the description box below. And we'll see you back here next time for the next episode of the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast.